We are gathering on the table today with Mike. Mike wears many hats. For those of you who may not know, could you introduce yourself and where are you from?
Sure. My name is Mike Mangione, and I'm multiple hats indeed. I'm a musician, a songwriter. I'm also a father and a husband, and then I'm the senior director and chief creative officer for the Theology Body Institute.
Yeah, and where are you from? Because we have
Oh,
Chicago style hot dogs and deep dish pizza in Chicago, so I want to know what your state's known for. What kind of food?
Chicago style pizza and hot dogs because
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm from
Fellow
Glenview, Illinois.
Chicagoan.
Yeah,
Nice.
I
Okay,
grew up
okay.
so just about 30 minutes north of the city.
Okay, cool. Good. What's your relationship with music like growing up? You said you're a musician.
Well, music when it started for me was to keep me from fighting my brothers because
Mm.
I have two older brothers. I was very feisty as a kid, and so she got me into drums. She thought it maybe like be a good way to let out my aggression. And it worked for a while. And then eventually my other brother, the middle brother, played guitar, and so we started playing together. And he's still in my band today. And that's how it started. And I kind of grew up being a huge fan. Like I really used music personally. I was never like a dancer, but I just loved like entering into music at a young age and being like in fourth grade listening to like Bob Dylan and Bob Marley and Van Morrison and just artists that are really struggling with the question of what it all means. That's who I listened to. And so I started really wanting to contribute to that and write and play music to be part of the bigger conversation of what it all means. And that's really how it started. And then my high school I went to is a great school that had an excellent arts program. It's produced a lot of creative people, and that kind of set me on my path.
Is drums your go-to instrument, or did you learn how to play anything else?
Oh yeah, drums were my first, and then guitar. Guitar is my main instrument now, and songwriting and singing. So, but drums is kind of like the entryway for me.
Oh, you were breaking up.
Am I breaking up a little?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh man, let me switch my battery port. Sometimes it gets a little funky.
So you said guitar
Okay,
and you learned how to
see
play
that? Huh?
drums and now you're a singer. So all because of the high school that you went to.
Yeah, guitar and singing is like the main thing now for me. And songwriting is my main expression.
Well, that led me into the next question. How did you know you wanted to be a singer-songwriter? Did it just come naturally to you or did you have to practice? Did you take lessons?
No, I never took lessons for songwriting. I guess I didn't really know I didn't really identify myself as a songwriter. I knew I wrote songs, like in my 20s, but it wasn't until like later on where I realized that the actual songwriting process and the point of songs was the most important thing for me. It wasn't fame, money, like being technically proficient or anything like that with an instrument are all fine. But really, it's about the communion uh, that the song can have that became like my that is my focus, and I didn't realize that. So once I realized that, I was like, okay, this is what I'm here for is writing music that really takes people into places that are hard to talk about. Not because they're painful, but just they're literally hard to talk about. They're transcendental places.
Would you say that you have a similar, like, you said Bob Marley, Bob Dylan, those kind of people, are they like your inspiration? I mean, I know you're Catholic and you do a lot with theology of the body and stuff, but would you kind of consider yourself to sound like them or the same message or
Uh, yeah, so like my faith it informs my morality, and it's my compass, but I never write music to I'm not, there's a genre of Christian music. I don't fall in it
okay.
because that has a kind of a formulaic element that I don't follow. I'm a songwriter writing Americana songs that are stories and narratives about common people. And so my whole thing has been, how do I write a song that can impact that can hit somebody where they're at in their life anywhere and allow them to see themselves within the story and take something from it. My faith is really important to me, but if I start interjecting like very specifically Christian or Catholic language into things, it starts to kind of remove the potential, a lot of potential people from seeing it. Now, that's not to say that I can't. I do have sacramentality in the music, and so and a lot of the metaphors are, um, they get their influence from my faith and also just from just Christian, just the Gospels in general. But um, but yeah, like I'm always just trying to find like common ground in the story, much like you would like Springsteen. Springsteen is was raised Catholic, but he doesn't identify.
Mm.
But his it's all over his music. Dylan was raised Jewish, but he has Christian themes all over his music. Paul Simon, raised Jewish, has Christian themes all over his later music. Van Morrison, raised Catholic, doesn't identify as Catholic, but it's all over his music. Specifically, really heavier with the just general Christian themes with Van Morrison. And then Bob Marley, who was a Rastafarian and then died an Ethiopian Catholic. He converted at the end of his life. But reggae music, I mean, all of his music was about God. It's funny that he always gets promoted. Rastafarianism obviously incorporates marijuana into their faith, but Marley always, in my opinion, has always been kind of diminished as just like a weed smoking guy, when first and foremost for him was God, his relationship with God. All of his music is praising God. And yeah, that stuff like deeply impacted me because I found it, I was always really interested in the transcendental what I mean is like, who am I? What am I? Where am I going? That's all I've been interested in, and I've tried to answer it in many different ways throughout my life. But once I got into my faith, I started plugging that into the answer those questions. So, um, yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've never
lost.
heard Rastafarian is a religion. I've never heard of this religion.
Yeah, Rastafarian is a
Oh, yeah,
religion
okay.
that was developed in Jamaica based off of I'll really loosely, and I'm not an expert on Rastafarianism, but I mean you've heard the term like Rasta man. They, typically, well, they believe that Haile Selassie, who's the Ethiopian king, is his, maybe I don't know the dates, but it wasn't too long ago, was actually the Messiah. And so, and it's rooted in, there's a lot of like Old Testament elements in it. So they talk of the same prophets. But uh, yeah, they believe this guy was the Messiah, and so they incorporated like the dreadlocks were a big part of it. They'd have these dreadlocks, and then smoking weed was a part of like the transcendental experience for them. Um, but and then eventually the king, he found out about it. How the king, I forgot his name. But he found out about it, and he's Ethiopian Catholic, which is like a rite, I think an Eastern rite branch.
Yeah.
And he sent his bishop to Jamaica just to kind of like, hey, figure this out because they think I'm the Messiah. And so he came and he was flocked like by all these Rastafarians. And he went and he spoke with some important figures, but then became friends with Marley and eventually converted Marley to Ethiopian Catholic. So a
Oh,
lot of people say,
interesting.
like, he didn't die Rastafarian, he died. Like if you watch his funeral, there are very ornate Catholic priests and crucifixes and incense and all that stuff. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Interesting. Learn something new every day, right?
Yeah, and I should learn more about it before I talk about it on a podcast.
Sorry.
If somebody's like knows about Rastafarian, like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But it's real loosely. I learned about it a while ago, and then it's been a couple of years.
That was my fault. My fault. I just threw that on you. I never heard of that.
That's all right. Yeah, Rastafarianism. Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of been talking about it. I don't know, like, what the kind of messages you're wanting to convey to your listeners. I think you're kind of, I mean, if I'm understanding correctly, it's kind of a self-identity thing. Who are you? Where are you going? Type thing. Am I on the right track with that?
Well, yeah, it's at least I'm not trying to I'm trying to meet them in that question. And number one, help them engage that question. Because some people aren't even engaged in the question. They don't reflect in that certain way. So I'm trying to help facilitate that. And then number two, affirm them in where they're at in their journey. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not saying, well, I'm just saying that affirm them where they're at in their journey. And number three, point them in a direction towards hope. You know, and I I have my beliefs in where that hope is and what it stems from, but it, I want to just I want to lead people towards that place of hope. And I mean, if somebody did enough research on me, if somebody fell in love with a song and did enough research on me, they'd be like, "Oh, he's just trying to bring people to Jesus." In a certain sense, I am, because that's where I find my hope and source and my everything. Um, but I'm allowing the first step is meeting people in that place, meeting people in their hunger and pointing them towards a banquet
Mm.
of some sort. And that's the first step for me. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm
Yeah.
trying to make people feel that they're not crazy.
Do you feel like you're crazy?
I used to be. I
Mm.
feel like I got it together. Maybe it's come with age. No, yeah. I mean, yeah. At times I feel, I have felt crazy, but I've come to find out that we're not crazy. We're just in a very, very, um, uh, very involved and complicated test. And, if you aren't aware of it, you can lose yourself in it and it can overtake you. But if you are aware of it and you find ways to grapple with, because life is like really hard and it's very painful. There's a lot of sacrifice and there's a lot of suffering and it requires a lot of sacrifice. And if you're not aware of that, it's hard to endure it. And oftentimes you try to endure it through anesthetizing and numbing and writing off and hardening and closing off and barreling through when it's really about getting to a place of acceptance and using the experiences that are hard, allowing them to show you how to refine and how to grow. That's the key
Mm.
because it's unavoidable to experience suffering. It just is.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the end. It's but but it doesn't need that's not if you hear that, it's there's a hope in it. And so trying to get people to feel that hope and find it and believe in it and change their life because of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was listening to some of your music this week. I don't know if you know Brother Isaiah. He sings,
Yeah.
he's a priest with the Prince. I feel like your music is kind of got his vibe or something. I don't know if you
Yeah.
see the similarities between that.
I've never met him. I've actually spent time with the CFRs, but
Oh
it was
wow.
before he was there. But
Have
no,
you
it's
heard his music?
briefly.
Okay.
Yeah. There's been a few videos that have come across my world that I've engaged and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. And
So
you
maybe
was
we'll do a collab. We'll do
yes,
something together and
that's
blow up.
fun. Yeah. I love it. Working for Jesus, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
You
where are you
cool.
from?
Chicago. We're south side of Chicago.
What part of Southside?
Chicago Heights,
Okay.
Homewood, Flossmoor,
Yeah.
that type of area. You collaborate with Christopher West. For those of you who don't know Christopher, he's a Catholic speaker and author who's known for his teachings on theology of the body. How did that come to be? How did you start to work with him?
I met Christopher 20 plus years ago.
Woo!
And when we first met, I was, well, going back to my faith, I was, I did all my sacraments and was baptized, but I didn't really follow it. And I got led to this retreat that he was giving, and I went on it. and I just kind of trusted. And it was really difficult. It was a theology of the body retreat, and I found it very difficult because it kind of went against like everything I was thinking at the time. And but there were like little kernels of truth that I was hearing at a subjective level, meaning I felt it within myself. I knew them to be true. And so I was kind of wrestling with that, what to do with that. Um, and at that time, he played a song at the retreat. Like he literally like picked up guitar and played a song, which he's never done. I've traveled with him for 20 years. He's never done that. Partially because I'm there doing it. But the point is that it's not something he did often. And after the talk, all these people wanted to ask him like deep theological questions. I just wanted to ask him about the song. And so I started talking about the song, and he could tell by the questions I was asking that I was a musician. He asked if I was a musician. I said yes. And then he said, "Who do you listen to?" And I said, "Well, my two Mount Rushmores would be Bob Dylan and U2." And then he's like, "Can we hang out afterwards? I want to talk music." And so we ended up hanging out really late that night, playing songs, talking war stories because he was in a band. And I shared later, I shared with him a record that I had done, and it became like the record for him that like just really, really helped him. And at the same time, I was then reading his material, and I was finally starting to like believe in what the church is
Mm.
teaching. And we were just helping each other through our work. And then eventually uh, we thought, hey man, wouldn't it be cool if we started using the beauty of art and music along with the truth of this teaching and wrapped it all into some kind of transcendental truth, goodness, beauty um, event. And so in 2008, we were invited to Sydney, Australia, and we did it for World Youth Day, and we did it together. And it was like, okay, we're doing this. And that's how it started.
That's crazy.
Many years, many places around the world. I've traveled with that guy, and it's been awesome. And first and foremost, we're just buddies. Like
Yeah.
we have a podcast called Word Made Fresh, where Christopher, myself, and a guy named the senior faculty member at the institute named Bill Donahue, we just get together and we talk about the world and all created things and how it points to the creator. That's like the technical, but we just talk about things, music, stories, books, songs, anything and everything. A can of Pringles that we just had, or this video about a nun who talks about cheese. Like we just talk about it. And we're always kind of like getting it back to the creator, back to like how it all relates to God. And we will talk for hours, like hours and hours and hours, like 5 hours at a time. And I don't get tired of it. And that's how it works, because if we didn't like each other, there's no way we can do it.
Are your podcast episodes hours and hours long, or do you edit it down a lot?
We added it down. Our
Okay.
podcast is about an hour, maybe an hour and 20 at the most.
Do you edit, one of you guys edit it, or do you have a
We
editor?
have, we have an editor.
That's
Well, he
amazing.
works with us at the Institute, but
Okay.
yeah, but we're always looking for more people. If anybody wants to help us out. Yeah.
But then I was going to talk to you because you're the chief creator and senior officer for Theology of the Body Institute. That's Christopher West too, right?
He's the
Okay.
president.
Okay. How did
Yeah.
that come to be, or where did that passion come, or was that after the music, before the music?
That was, well, music for me, though. Music for me was at like 13. That's when I
Right.
kind of, drums was first grade actually. So that's been always there. But yeah, when we did Australia, we then said, let's do a couple more of these. And we developed an event called Fill These Hearts that eventually became a book. And that event was like a 2.5 hour melding of truth, goodness, beauty in a presentation. And we were using the goodness, beauty. When I say that, what I mean is really like truth speaking, the truth. I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking the transcendentals and to put like tangible examples is Christopher speaks the truth. I bring the beauty, and we use other videos and images and stuff to help kind of flesh out the beauty and goodness and all that, because all of that are related. Capital T capital B beauty, capital B like true beauty is truth, capital T truth, and truth is goodness. It's good. So they're all like a spiral just kind of spinning, and that's our Lord. Our Lord uses these elements. So like that's why like you don't need to have faith to be inspired by the Sistine Chapel. Like you can go to the Sistine Chapel and be like, there's something about this place. Or like a friend of mine who's not Catholic at all, who saw the Pope in Rome, like got really close to him. And he's like, there's just something like I felt something like I got so moved and my wife started crying. And he's like, we're not even Catholic. That's goodness, right? You watch a sunset and everybody's just like drawn to it. That's beauty. But all of that is our Lord, right? They all stem from our Lord. So the transcendentals enable us to take God and bring him to people that might have a hard time listening to a person in a collar because we're all just, bring them to people further in a new way. And so these events were really trying to create an experience that we can reach out to a broader audience. Like we don't need just TOB fanatics to be there.
Mhm.
We want college students and people. We want people like me, pretty much, before I had my faith, to come and be like into it. So yeah, and then eventually we started a ministry together called the Core Project, and then we did that for a couple of years. And the Core Project eventually we merged with the Institute, which he founded but kind of walked away from for a little bit because we were doing the Core Project. We all merged back together, and next thing you knew, I was like part of the Institute, which I was like, how did I get here? I was just a guitarist like a couple of years ago, and now I'm part of the Institute, but. Yeah, and then my gifts are in big vision and creativity. And so that's how it happened.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about more about the core project. What is that?
The core project, which is no longer, we
Okay.
disbanded it, but it was the entity, the company that would create and promote our events and resources. Core being COR, Latin for heart.
Mm.
And so for years, instead of the Institute always existed, and Christopher would do courses there, 5-day immersion courses. But separate from that, it was just me, Christopher, and this other guy, Jason, who were like booking all our events, traveling everywhere, and printing books pretty much. But the Institute really needed kind of like they didn't have like an events arm, and we didn't have a deeper experience. Like we didn't have a course because he was doing the courses. So it didn't make sense for us to be separate. Like we
Yeah.
figured always meld together. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
But we got to the point where it's like core project doesn't make sense to have two. So the Institute is a little more official sounding. And you can get certified, you can get master's degree, and it's also associated with a doctorate. So core lost, but
Yeah.
that's
Well, you're going to be at the Theology of the Body conference. It's in February 6th to 8th. You're going to be performing, am I right? Performing.
yeah, one of those days. I think the
I
7th.
think it's Saturday. Yeah, somebody said
Yeah,
it was Saturday.
I'll
You
be
know,
playing.
tell us a little bit about that. What can we expect? Do you
Well,
have any sneak peeks?
you could expect very engaging lyrical music played acoustically soft.
Love it.
Yeah, I I really try to take people on a journey. A little bit of bantering in between, try to talk about the songs, set up the stories, but it's going to be an intimate performance where I'm engaging the audience and bringing them into the music and
Ooh.
making them laugh and hopefully making them love the music and find something out about themselves that day.
Oh, which is exactly what you're trying to do with your music. Find something out about yourself
That's right.
and I think I saw on the Theology of the Body Educators Instagram that they're running a giveaway, but the graphic got cut off, so I don't know when the last day for that is. So
A giveaway for
tickets,
registration.
I think it's t or for tickets or whatever. So that's
Oh,
February 6th to 8th. It's in Chicago for single, dating, married, engaged. Everybody's invited.
that's right. If you
And
have a body, theology of the body is for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I think there's gonna be a dance too, they said, maybe? Or is it
That's
just a
what I heard.
concert? Okay.
No, no, I think they're dancing afterwards.
Oh, after.
There's a guy who does theology of dance, and he's like giving a little like presentation, and then they're gonna be dancing. Um, So there you go. I won't dance. I'm not that good at dancing, and it'd be weird if I did dance for everybody. So, but I will be doing music that you can dance to if you want to.
So we'll have a little it'll be concert vibes. We're all looking at
Yes.
you. You're at the start of the show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's an opportunity for me to inflate my ego and
Promote yourself.
my get rich slow scheme that I have set up my 80-year vision on my vision board. Yeah.
What's your vision? What's
Oh
the
gosh,
vision board?
if I had one, I don't know. I'd be somewhere else. I don't mean that in any offense to you. No,
No.
I don't have a vision. My vision is my family.
Hmm.
Bring my kids up well.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun. Thanks for coming on. I know you had to reach out to me. It was like, are you spam? Who are you? Why are you emailing me?
I was like, and I think you emailed the work email, the instant
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That's another thing because like a lot of my music related stuff is a different email.
Okay.
So when I saw that, I was like, I think this is a real request. So sorry. And then I was
It's
like,
just the email I was given.
yeah, no, that's good. But once I knew that you were a real person, a very enjoyable experience.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not a robot, I promise. I
Okay,
come with
good.
good intentions.
Yeah.
Where can our listeners connect with you if they want to find more about you, find out more about
Well,
you?
wherever people connect, I mean, you can just Google my name and it's there. But if wherever you like connect with music, I'm there. So Spotify, Apple, whatever. And then any social, like my main social media is Instagram. I really enjoy Instagram.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm on X and I like, yeah, I don't know. I'm on Facebook too, but like who uses Facebook anymore? I have a website, but then the
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh,
Check
yeah.
the podcast is great. Word Made Fresh
Oh,
is
it's fresh, not flesh.
Word Made Fresh.
Oh,
You know what we did?
yeah.
And yeah, that's on everywhere as well, Spotify and whatnot. There's another podcast. Well, I used to do other podcasts, but that's the one I'm currently doing. So I'll
Yeah.
check that out. Yeah.
That's so fun. I love it. Or you can just come to Chicago, February 6th to
Oh
8th
my God.
at the
Yeah.
conference. You'll be
Really
there.
want to shake hands and stuff. Be at the conference. You'll be
Yeah.
there too?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Gotta be
I'm
there.
a little broke right now, so I hope I win that giveaway.
You gotta get the giveaway.
I
I'll see
know,
if I
right?
can I'll pull some string.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. Please do. All right.
absolutely.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
This has been great.
Thanks.